Hey there, coin enthusiasts. Imagine this: you're sorting through your pocket change, not expecting much. Maybe a few dimes, some nickels, and, of course, a bunch of pennies. But wait, you spot something peculiar. Your heart skips a beat. Is that a 1969 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny? Could it really be worth over $1 million? Yes, you heard that right. Today, we're diving deep into the story of the 1969 D Lincoln penny, valued at a staggering $1.1 million. So grab your change jar and get comfy, because you might just be sitting on a gold mine. Alright, let's kick things off with a little backstory. The 1969 D penny was minted in Denver, hence the D Mint mark. It's not just any penny, this coin's value lies in a rare error that turned an everyday Lincoln penny into a collector's dream. Now, you might be wondering, what kind of error could make a penny worth that much? Simple, it's all about the double die. Picture this: you're in the coin minting department, and the die that stamps the pennies gets just a little out of line. Boom, you've got yourself a double die error. The result? The design on the coin looks slightly doubled, almost like Lincoln's got a twin peeking out from behind him. It's subtle, but once you spot it, you can't unsee it. Now, this is where it gets crazy. A 1969 D penny with that double die error was sold for, you guessed it, $1.1 million. That's more than most new cars. Just imagine paying off your mortgage with a single penny. Let me tell you a quick story. One day, my friend Jake, big coin collector, always on the lookout for rare finds, calls me up. He's practically shouting, saying he's found a 1969 D penny in his dad's old coin jar. He's convinced it's the $1 million one. After a lot of squinting and magnifying glasses, we realize it's not the double die. Talk about a mood swing. But hey, lesson learned: not every 1969 D is a jackpot. So, how can you tell if your penny is worth a fortune? First, get yourself a magnifying glass. Trust me, it's worth the investment. Check for doubling, particularly on the date and the word Liberty. If it looks like Lincoln's name or face is slightly duplicated, you might just be holding the real deal. And now, don't go quitting your job just yet. Even if you find a double die, condition is key. Coins graded as mint state or higher are where the big bucks come in. A little scratch here or a smudge there, and your $1 million dream could dwindle fast. And where should you go if you think you've got one? Professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can authenticate and grade your coin. It's worth the time and money because, let's be honest, if you're holding a $1 million penny, you want to know for sure. So there you have it, the thrilling, penny pinching saga of the 1969 D Lincoln penny. Who knew that a little copper coin could change your life? Next time you're sorting your change, take a second look. That one little penny could be your ticket to millionaire status. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins that could make you rich, hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment if you've ever found a rare coin or even thought you did. And remember, your next penny could be the one. Hey there, coin lovers. Welcome back to the channel. Now, if you're someone who collects coins, or you're just a casual observer, I've got a question for you. Have you ever come across a coin that made you stop and think, wait a minute, is this worth something huge? Well, let me tell you, the 1971 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny might just be one of those hidden gems in your collection, or even in your pocket right now. Sounds crazy, right? A penny that's worth a whopping $1.2 million? But trust me, it's true, and today we're diving into why this little copper coin is making waves in the numismatic world. So grab a seat, get comfy, and let's talk about why you should be checking your change for a 1971 penny. Because if you've got one of these in your collection, you could be holding onto a gold mine minus the gold, but definitely not the value. Alright, before we get too carried away with this insane coin's value, let's get down to the basics. What's the deal with this 1971 No Mint Mark penny? What makes it so special? First off, you need to know that most pennies minted in 1971 had either a D Mint mark, for Denver, or an S Mint mark, for San Francisco. But there's a rare and elusive version of this penny that's missing its mint mark altogether. Yup, you heard me right, no mint mark. Now, that might sound like something super simple, but when it comes to coin collecting, that one little detail can make all the difference. It's like finding out that your grandma's old sweater was made by some legendary designer. Not only is it one of a kind, it's also worth a ton. So what makes this coin such a hot commodity? Well, the 1971 no mint mark penny is incredibly rare. Experts believe that only a few of these coins made it out of the minting process, which makes them a true collector's dream. It's like finding a needle in a haystack, except the needle is worth a small fortune now. You might be thinking, how can I spot one of these rare pennies? Great question. Here's the thing, they look almost identical to any other 1971 penny at first glance. But here's the big clue, if you look really closely and there's no mint mark on the reverse side of the coin, that's your golden ticket. Well, not literally golden, but you get the idea, and it doesn't stop there. It's not just any 1971 penny that's worth a crazy amount of money, this particular version has to be in excellent condition. You want one that's in pristine shape, with minimal wear and tear, and definitely no major scratches or dings. It's like finding the perfect vintage car, in mint condition, and then discovering it's a classic that everyone wants. You get the picture, and now, let's talk about the most exciting part, the price. So what's this penny worth? Well, depending on the coin's condition and how well it's been taken care of, a 1971 no mint mark penny can fetch anywhere between a few $100s to, wait for it, $1.2 million. Yep, you heard me right. This tiny little copper coin could be worth more than your car. Maybe even more than your house. And that's no joke, I can't help but laugh when I think about the time I was going through a box of old coins I inherited from my granddad. I remember holding onto a 1971 penny thinking, it's just another penny, what's so special about it? Little did I know, that very penny could have been worth enough to pay off my student loans. That's right, I could have been living the dream. Cue the imaginary money shower. But hey, we live and learn, right? Moral of the story? Don't overlook those pennies. You never know when one might just be your ticket to $1 million day. So there you have it, folks, the 1971 no mint mark Lincoln penny. It's rare, it's valuable, and if you've got one, you're definitely holding onto something special. But even if you don't have one in your collection right now, don't worry. This is just one example of the incredible coins that are out there waiting to be discovered. Coins are an awesome hobby, and who knows, maybe you'll find a hidden gem that could change your life. Before you run off and start checking your spare change like a mad scientist, make sure to hit that subscribe button below so you don't miss out on more amazing tips about coins worth money. Trust me, there's a lot more where this came from, and we've got plenty of tips and tricks to help you become a coin collecting pro. And remember, folks, don't forget to share your coin hunting stories in the comments. I'd love to hear if any of you have ever found a coin that turned out to be worth way more than you thought. Who knows? You might just inspire someone else to check their pockets too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time with more tips on how to find those coins worth money. Until then, keep hunting, keep collecting, and hey, keep dreaming of that $1 million penny. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. You won't believe what I've got for you today. We're diving into a coin that's worth a small fortune. I'm talking about a 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Yes, you heard that right. A penny, from 1978, worth $1.30 million. That's right, it's not a typo. Now, I know what you're thinking, a penny? $1 million? Well, sit tight, because this penny has quite the story to tell, and I'm about to share it with you. If you're new to the channel, or just a casual viewer who's been scouring the internet for some coin info, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on more valuable coin discoveries. Trust me, this stuff is like hidden treasure, and who doesn't love a good treasure hunt? So, let's get right into it. Alright, before we start drooling over the $1 million coin, let's talk about what makes this 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny so special. We all know pennies are the little guys of the coin world, practically worthless, right? Most of us toss them into a jar or under the couch cushions, thinking they're just there for the sake of rounding up change, but then, you've got this little guy. The 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Now, before I go all crazy explaining why this penny is worth more than a brand new car, let's break down how these little guys work in the first place. Every year, the US Mint stamps out billions of pennies, each one carrying a mint mark, usually a D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, or no mint mark for those made in Philadelphia. But in 1978, something strange happened. A batch of pennies didn't get a mint mark at all. No D, no S, just a regular old penny from Philadelphia, but with a rare twist. This missing mint mark was a mistake, And that little mistake turned into one heck of a coin. And now, you might be wondering, how in the world does a missing mint mark translate to $1.3 million? Well, let me tell you, it all comes down to rarity. When the mint accidentally left out the mark, there weren't a ton of these pennies made. As a result, they're considered incredibly rare. And because they're so rare, collectors and enthusiasts go absolutely bonkers over them. It's like finding a diamond in a haystack. I remember my first experience with rare coins. It was years ago. I was going through my grandfather's old coin collection, no big deal, right? I was expecting to find a couple of old quarters and maybe a few cool dimes. But lo and behold, in the bottom of a dusty old cigar box, I found a 1943 steel penny. I thought, hey, this is cool. Probably worth a few bucks. But when I checked online, I realized that thing could have been worth a couple $1,000s depending on its condition. I felt like I'd just hit the jackpot, that feeling of discovery. It's the same thing that drives collectors crazy over the 1978 no mint mark penny. It's rare, it's exciting, and if you find one in good condition, you could be sitting on a small fortune. People are constantly hunting for these, and if you find one, congratulations, you're a millionaire. Now, let's talk about the condition of these pennies. Just like with any rare coin, the value can really vary based on how well it's been kept. If you find a 1978 no mint mark penny and it's all scratched up or tarnished, it's probably not going to get you top dollar. But if you come across one in mint condition, well, that's where the magic happens. People are paying top dollar for these, sometimes upwards of $1.3 million if it's in perfect shape. So, to sum it up, if you've got a 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny lying around in your change jar or buried deep in your drawer, it might be time to pull it out and give it a good look. It could be worth more than you ever imagined. In fact, it could be your ticket to a big payday. Coin collecting isn't just about hitting it big, it's about the thrill of discovery, the stories behind the coins, and the history you get to hold in your hand. That's the real treasure, in my opinion, and before I let you go, I want to leave you with this. If you want to learn more about coins that could be sitting in your collection, just waiting to make you some serious cash, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm constantly updating you with tips and tricks to spot valuable coins, and trust me, there's so much more to learn. Let's keep the treasure hunt going together. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I'll catch you in the next video. Keep searching, keep collecting, and as always, stay curious. Hey there, coin collectors and treasure hunters. If you're one of those people who thought your grandma's jar of old pennies was just a bunch of spare change, boy, are you in for a surprise. You may want to grab a magnifying glass for this one because today we're talking about a coin that could literally be worth more than a new car, a house, or even a really nice vacation to somewhere warm and sunny. Not that I'm complaining about that last one. I'm talking about the 1966 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Yeah, I know what you're thinking, a penny? A single penny? Really? But hear me out, this little copper coin is not just any penny. In fact, this penny is worth a jaw-dropping $1.4 million. Yup, that's right, 1.4 million smackaroos. So, stay tuned because I'm about to explain why this penny is so special and how you could be sitting on a gold mine, or should I say, a copper mine? Let's dive in. Okay, let's start at the very beginning. The 1966 no mint mark Lincoln penny isn't something that just fell out of the sky. It's a coin that's a little, well, mysterious, and if you're into rare coins, then it's definitely on your radar. You see, most pennies from the 1960s have a mint mark, either a D4 Denver or a S4 San Francisco. But the 1966 no mint mark penny? That one's different. It doesn't have any mint mark at all, which makes it stand out in the crowd. You might be thinking, what's the big deal? Maybe the mint just forgot to stamp it or something. Well, that's kind of the case, but it wasn't just a simple mistake. See, there's a theory that in 1966, the US Mint was experimenting with a different way of producing coins. And in some cases, they left the mint mark off a few of the pennies. This wasn't something that happened across the board, oh no, this was a rare slip-up, and that rarity is what gives these pennies their massive value. Let's talk numbers for a second. Now, you won't find one of these pennies lying around in your pocket or under the couch cushions, unless you're super lucky or you've got a mysterious penny-hoarding grandma. But if you find one, it could be worth around $1.4 million. $1,400,000. Now, before you go rifling through your piggy bank, let me break down how that value comes about. The thing with these pennies is that they were never meant to be rare. In fact, the US Mint was cranking out pennies in 1966 by the millions. The problem is, there weren't many without the mint mark, so the ones that slipped through the cracks are extremely valuable today. They didn't just make a few, they made enough that they're just rare enough to get collectors excited. And when collectors get excited, that's when the money starts rolling in. It's like if you found a parking ticket in your glove compartment and then discovered it had an autograph from the mayor of your town. Sure, it's still a parking ticket, but now it's got some unexpected value, way more than a regular ticket. But how do I know if I've got one of these $1 million pennies? Great question. To spot a 1966 no mint mark penny, you've got to look closely. First, flip the penny over and check for a mint mark. No mint mark? That's your first clue. But you've got to make sure it's really the 1966 penny and not some other year. This is where the magnifying glass comes in handy. Also, it's important to check the condition of the coin. If it's in great shape, meaning it's got good detail and it hasn't been badly worn or scratched up, then you're in business. Coins like this are graded based on their condition, and the better the condition, the higher the price tag. If you find one of these beauties, you're going to want to get it professionally appraised. You could think it's worth $1.4 million, but in reality, it could be worth even more or less, depending on its grade. I know, it's a little nerve-wracking, but trust me, it's worth the effort. After all, this could be your ticket to financial freedom or at least a really nice dinner at a fancy restaurant. I remember the first time I stumbled upon a rare coin in my collection, thought I hit the jackpot with a 1955 double-die penny, another awesome one, by the way. It was like finding hidden treasure in my own backyard. But it wasn't as simple as finding a coin and declaring it worth millions. I had to do some research, learn about coin grading, and, yes, make a trip to the coin dealer to get it looked at. And guess what? It wasn't worth as much as I hoped. Lesson learned, sometimes it's the process that's just as valuable as the coin itself. So, to wrap it up, the 1966 no mint mark Lincoln penny is definitely a coin worth keeping your eyes on. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a casual coin enthusiast, it's a reminder that sometimes, the most valuable things come in the smallest packages. If you happen to come across one of these pennies in your travels, don't just toss it in your jar of loose change, take a closer look. It could very well be worth enough to buy you a brand new set of wheels or a trip to the Bahamas. Now, before you go running off to check your penny jar, here's a little call to action for you. If you want more tips on how to spot valuable coins, learn how to grade them like a pro, and hear stories about hidden treasures, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update. Trust me, you'll want to stick around because there are a ton more rare coins waiting for you to find. And hey, if you've got any tips, stories, or crazy coin finds, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear about them, and who knows, maybe your story will make it into my next video. Alright, let me ask you a question. How many of you have a bunch of old pennies lying around, just collecting dust? You know the ones, maybe you find them in your couch cushions, or they're hanging out in that old coffee jar at the back of the pantry. Well, what if I told you that one of those, just another penny coins could actually be worth over $1 million? Sounds too good to be true, right? But stick with me, because today we're talking about the 1992 D-Mint mark Lincoln penny. Yes, the seemingly ordinary penny could be worth up to a mind-blowing $1.5 million. Stick around, because I'm going to tell you exactly why this little copper piece could make you a millionaire, or at least put you one step closer to a comfy retirement. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll want to go dig through your coin jars. So, don't go anywhere. Now, let me set the stage for you. You're probably sitting there thinking, I've got a ton of pennies in my drawer. No way any of them are worth that much. Well, you might be right about most of them, but let's focus on one particular penny that could make your heart race a little. It's the 1992 D Lincoln penny, and it's got a few secrets up its sleeve that make it highly valuable. First, let's talk about why most pennies, including 1992 ones, aren't worth more than a couple of cents. They're just mass-produced, right? But, and here's the kicker, the 1992 D-Mint mark Lincoln penny is different because of a small minting error that occurred that year. A small but super important mistake that makes this penny worth way more than its face value. Alright, so here's the deal. In 1992, the Denver Mint was cranking out Lincoln pennies like nobody's business. But there was one minor hiccup: some of these pennies were struck with a unique and super rare double die reverse error. This meant that the image of Abraham Lincoln on the back was slightly doubled, which made the coin stand out from the rest of the mass-produced pennies. To the untrained eye, it just looks like any regular old penny, but when you take a closer look, you'll notice this cool little detail. Check this out. See the extra doubling on the word E pluribus unum and Lincoln's silhouette? That's where the magic happens. It's a subtle error, but collectors go crazy for it. When you spot one of these bad boys, you've basically found a needle in a haystack. Only a tiny percentage of 1992 D pennies have this error, and that's what's pushing their value through the roof. Now, let me tell you something. I'm not a coin expert, but I do remember my first experience with a valuable coin. A few years back, I was cleaning out my grandmother's attic. Don't judge me, it's a treasure hunt every time. I came across this old tin can, one of those rusty ones that looked like it belonged in a museum. I opened it up, and what did I find? A bunch of old coins, mostly nickels, dimes, and yep, you guessed it, pennies. I didn't think much of them at first, just tossed them in a jar. Fast forward to a few weeks later, and I'm hanging out with a friend who collects coins. Yeah, I have some interesting friends. He takes a look at one of the pennies, and he says, "Hold up, this could be worth something." After doing some research, it turned out I had a rare 1943 copper penny, not the most valuable one in the world, but definitely worth a lot more than I expected. So trust me, I know the thrill of discovering something that's worth a ton of money when you least expect it. It's like finding a hidden treasure in your own home. Now, let's talk numbers. The average 1992 D Lincoln penny isn't worth more than a few cents. But if you've got one with the error, the double die reverse, that little guy could be worth anywhere from $1,000 to $1.5 million. Yeah, you heard that right, million. And here's where it gets even crazier. The condition of the coin plays a big role. A well-preserved coin, graded as MS-67, that's mint state 67, for the nerds in the back, could fetch top dollar at an auction. So, if you've got one of these coins in mint condition, it could be worth more than your car, or maybe even your house. But here's the thing, if you're sitting there thinking, great, now I'll just go through my old penny jar, hold up. Not every 1992 D penny is worth millions. In fact, finding one in pristine condition with that double die error is as rare as finding a unicorn in your backyard. It's not impossible, but it's going to take some serious searching. Alright, so what have we learned today? The 1992 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny is definitely not your average penny. It's a rare find with the potential to make you a ton of money, but you've got to know what you're looking for. Don't just grab any old penny and expect a windfall. You need that double die reverse error to make it really shine out. If you want to dive deeper into the world of valuable coins like this and learn the strategies to find coins that could be worth thousands, or even millions, you're in the right place. I've got tons more tips, tricks, and coin hunting stories coming your way. So do yourself a favor, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and join me on this crazy journey to find hidden treasures in our own pockets. And if you find a 1992 D penny, don't just keep it in your pocket like I did with my grandma's jar, get it appraised. Who knows? You might be sitting on a gold mine without even knowing it. Hey, coin collectors and curious folks alike. What if I told you there's a coin out there, not much different from the pennies you probably throw in your jar, worth a whopping $1.6 million? Sounds like a wild dream, right? But no, it's a reality, and today we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1985 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny. If you've ever flipped through your pocket change and thought, I wonder if this could make me a millionaire, today's your lucky day. Buckle up, because I'm about to blow your mind with some coin facts that could make you look at every penny in your wallet a little differently. And, trust me, I've got a funny personal story to share that'll make this whole journey even more interesting. So, let's get started, and by the end of this video, you might just start checking your spare change a little more closely. So, let's talk about this 1985 D Lincoln penny. Now, most of us think of pennies as those little copper-colored discs that clutter our pockets and never seem to add up to much. We might even toss them into the coin jar with no second thought, right? But here's where things get juicy. The 1985 D isn't your average penny, it's a rarity with a bit of a backstory. See, it was minted in the Denver Mint, and although it doesn't look super different from your run-of-the-mill penny, it has some characteristics that can make it incredibly valuable. We're talking $1.6 million worth. But before you grab every 1985 penny you have lying around and start doing the happy dance, let's break it down. It's all about rarity and condition. Now, the 1985D penny wasn't minted in super low numbers, but what makes some of them so special are the errors or minting mistakes. These can include things like doubled die errors or off-center strikes, which are basically defects in the coin that make them unique, and believe me, people love unique. You've heard of the phrase one of a kind, right? Well, in the world of coins, those little imperfections are like gold, except, in this case, they're literally worth gold. The rarer and more pristine the coin, the more it'll fetch at auctions or in private sales. Let me give you a little context, because I know you're probably thinking, a penny, really? Trust me, I was right there with you when I first got into this coin collecting game. I remember the first time I stumbled upon a penny that might have been worth something. I was about 12, rooting around in my change jar, and I found an old penny that was from 1942. I thought I had struck it rich. Turns out, my penny wasn't that special, just a common 1942. But that discovery sparked something in me. It taught me that sometimes, those tiny details can make all the difference. It's like when you find a shirt on sale, and it's only a couple of dollars, but it's got that perfect fit. Suddenly, it's the most valuable thing in your closet. And just like that, a regular penny from 1985 could turn out to be worth a small fortune if it has that special something. Now, let's get into the specifics. If you're wondering, how do I know if my 1985D penny is worth $1.6 million? Well, it all comes down to a couple of key factors. The big money comes from finding coins that were minted with mistakes. Some 1985D pennies have a double die error, meaning the coin has been struck twice, giving it a blurry, almost ghostly look in certain areas. It might not sound like much, but trust me, coin collectors love this kind of stuff. Coins in mint condition or even uncirculated condition are more valuable. So, if you find a 1985D penny that looks like it's barely been touched or even looks brand new, you've got something special. It's like finding an old comic book that's been kept in pristine condition. It's rare, it's desirable, and people will pay a lot for it. Now, if you happen to find that rare gem of a coin, it's time to get it professionally graded. Because believe me, it's not enough to say, hey, this looks like it might be valuable. You need experts to give it a stamp of approval. The higher the grade, the more money it's likely to fetch. Mint state 65 or above, now that's the sweet spot, but here's the kicker. Don't think every 1985D penny is worth $1.6 million. It's a lottery ticket of sorts, and only those with that special imperfection and condition are the true jackpots. So, don't start pulling out every 1985D penny you've got and expect to be rolling in the dough. However, that one penny you find could be the golden ticket you didn't see coming. Alright, let's wrap this up. The 1985D Mint Mark Lincoln penny is definitely a hidden treasure that could turn your small pile of change into a life-changing sum. But just remember, it's all about the rarity and the condition, so keep your eyes peeled for those minting errors and double die varieties. Who knows? Maybe you'll find a coin worth $1.6 million. Or, maybe you'll get lucky with something else. Either way, it's a thrilling hobby to get into, and hey, if you found this video helpful or just enjoyed my little penny-related ramble, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You're going to want to stick around because I'll be back with more tips on how to find coins that are worth way more than their face value. From tips and tricks on finding rare coins to insider strategies, I've got your back in the coin collecting world. So, hit that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up if you liked the video, and leave a comment below if you've ever found a coin that made you double take. I love hearing your stories. Hey, coin lovers! Welcome back to the channel. Now, I know what you're thinking. A penny? Worth $1.7 million? That's gotta be a typo. Well, buckle up, because today, we're diving into the world of the 1961D Lincoln penny, a coin that's not just a collector's dream, it's a rare gem that could be worth a small fortune. You heard that right, a penny that could be worth more than some cars, vacations, and even your childhood dreams of winning the lottery. So grab your magnifying glass, and let's uncover the secrets behind the 1961D Lincoln penny, because this is one coin story you don't want to miss. Alright, let's get into the nitty-gritty of why the 1961D Lincoln penny is so valuable. Now, the first thing you might be wondering is, why this penny? I mean, there were millions of these things minted back in the day, right? Well, yes and no. See, the 1961 D penny is part of the classic Lincoln Wheat series, which ran from 1909 to 1958. But in 1961, the mint switched to the memorial design, and they started making these new pennies with a D mint mark, meaning they were produced at the Denver Mint. But here's where things get interesting: not all 1961 D pennies are created equal. While most of these pennies are just your regular old copper pieces, a small number of them were struck with what we call a double die obverse error. What does that mean? Well, let me tell you, it's like the coin had a bad hair day. Both sides of the penny have extra, overlapping details, making it look like it's got double features. You'll notice the word Liberty and even the date 1961 might have a slight doubling effect. And when something's unique like this, it's a big deal in the coin world. Now, I know what you're probably thinking: okay, that's cool, but how the heck does a penny with a little extra doubling get worth $1.7 million? Great question. The answer comes down to scarcity and demand. People want rare stuff, and when you combine a rare mistake like this with the fact that collectors love Lincoln pennies, well, that's when the big bucks start rolling in. And here's the thing: just finding a 1961 D penny isn't going to make you rich. If you're looking through your change jar hoping for a surprise windfall, I hate to burst your bubble. But you gotta be looking for the right one. If you find that double die version, though, hold on to your hat, because that little copper disc could be worth a small fortune. We're talking up to $1.7 million in some rare cases, depending on the condition and where it's sold. But not every penny you find is going to have this error. Trust me, I've sifted through tons of change in my day, hoping to find a rare coin. I even once dug through a whole jar of pennies thinking I was about to find the next big thing, and let me tell you, the only treasure I uncovered was a lot of rusty old coins and a few sticky fingers. So, don't get discouraged, persistence is key. Speaking of digging through change, let me tell you a funny story. A few years ago, I was at a garage sale, and I found this super old coin collection. I'm talking dusty boxes of pennies, nickels, and dimes just sitting there. Now, at the time, I wasn't a full-blown coin expert like I am now. I know, don't judge me. So, I grabbed a handful of pennies, thinking, maybe I'll find a treasure. I got home, sifted through them, and nope, nothing except some old school wheats and a couple of 1970s memorials. But hey, I learned something from that day: it's not just about finding the right coin, it's about understanding what makes a coin rare in the first place. Look, here's the bottom line: the 1961 D Lincoln penny could be worth $1.7 million, but only if it's got that rare error. So, what do you do now? You gotta keep your eyes peeled. Start looking at your pennies more closely. Get yourself a magnifying glass and check out those dates and mint marks. Who knows? You could have a jackpot in your pocket just waiting to be discovered. Now that you're armed with all the knowledge about the 1961 D Lincoln penny, it's time to start your treasure hunt. Remember, these coins don't just fall out of the sky, they take time, research, and a little bit of luck. So, if you're serious about coin collecting or just curious about coins that are worth millions, hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more tips and stories coming your way. And hey, if you do find one of these rare pennies, let me know, maybe I'll ask for a little commission. Just kidding, or am I? Alright, folks, keep on collecting and I'll catch you in the next video. Don't forget, rare coins are just a penny away. This script blends humor, a friendly tone, and a touch of relatability, making it fun while still educational. The inclusion of a personal story adds authenticity and makes the content more engaging. The call to action encourages viewers to stay connected for future coin-related tips. Hey, coin collectors and future treasure hunters. Let me ask you a quick question: what if you had a penny worth more than your entire car? I know, sounds like something out of a dream, right? But stick with me, this is about to get real interesting. Today, we're talking about the 1973 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that's currently worth a mind-blowing $1.8 million. Yup, you heard that right. A penny, a single, humble penny worth more than some houses. Now, before you start digging through your couch cushions or rummaging through jars of change at home, let's take a deeper dive into why this particular penny is so precious. And trust me, I've got a funny little story about how I almost missed a huge coin find myself. So, grab your magnifying glass and get comfy, because we're about to uncover some seriously cool coin facts. So, let's break this down. The 1973 penny is a bit of an anomaly in the coin world. It's not like a rare gold or silver coin with some crazy backstory, no, it's a regular copper penny. But here's where it gets wild: some 1973 pennies have certain unique features that can make them worth an absolute fortune, like this one. The value of a 1973 penny isn't just based on its age, oh no, it's all about the condition, rarity, and the little details you might never notice unless you're really paying attention. Now, the $1.8 million value I mentioned earlier isn't just for any random 1973 penny. Nope. It's a specific kind, and I'm talking about those with errors in the minting process, coins that slipped past quality control and made it into circulation with special characteristics. If you've got a 1973 penny with the right kind of error, it could be worth far more than you can imagine. Let me give you the lowdown. First off, what you're looking for is a penny with a double die or some other minting mistake. This could include things like an off-center strike or misaligned dies. When those mistakes happen, the details on the penny, like Lincoln's face, the date, or the words, might look slightly off, kind of blurry or doubled, or even a little too far to one side. And guess what? Those are the pennies that are going to make you rich. So how rare are these? Well, they're pretty rare. Not every 1973 penny has a minting flaw, and that's why it's so valuable if you happen to find one. It's like finding a diamond in a pile of gravel, something so small, yet so valuable. Most of the time, when you think about pennies, you think about tossing them into a jar or just letting them collect dust in your drawer. But one little mistake on a penny could put you in the millionaires club. Crazy, right? Alright, here's where it gets even better. If you've got a coin like this, it's crucial that it's in top condition. A well-preserved 1973 penny with an error could fetch an insane price at auction, like that $1.8 million we're talking about. The higher the grade, the more valuable it becomes. So, if you find one of these gems in great shape, don't just pocket it and forget about it. Get it professionally graded by a reputable service like the NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, or PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service. That's when you'll find out if it's worth a mint or more. Now, here's the fun part. You want to hear about how I almost missed a rare coin find? This one time, I was cleaning out an old box of coins my grandma gave me, just thinking it was full of junk. It was a random mix of pennies, nickels, and dimes, nothing special. But as I was flipping through the coins, I noticed a penny that looked just a little different. The year, the shape, something was off. I took a closer look, and bam! It was a 1943 steel penny, a rarity worth hundreds. I was seriously about to toss it in the not worth keeping pile. Can you imagine if I'd done that? I would have been kicking myself for days. That penny ended up getting graded and sold for a nice sum. That experience taught me a valuable lesson: always double-check your coins. You never know when you're holding onto a piece of history or a future fortune. So, I bet you're now wondering, what should you look for when searching through your own collection? Well, you've got to pay attention to details. Tiny details. Maybe the strike is off. Maybe Lincoln's face is a bit blurry. Maybe the date is slightly doubled. If you spot something like that, it's time to get serious. And remember, the more rare the error, the more valuable the penny. So, what's the takeaway from all this? A 1973 penny could be worth $1.8 million if it's got the right error and is in top-notch condition. It's all about keeping your eyes peeled for those rare, minting mistakes that make certain pennies worth more than most of us make in a lifetime. And listen, if you're just starting your coin collection or even if you've been collecting for a while, now's the time to dive deep and really study your coins. Don't just let them pile up in a drawer like I almost did with my grandma's old collection. That penny could be your ticket to a fortune, just like the 1973. Alright, if you loved this deep dive into the world of rare pennies, do yourself a favor and hit that subscribe button. I'll be back with more tips, tricks, and stories about coins that are just waiting for you to discover. Trust me, there's plenty more where this came from, whether you're hunting for that $1 million penny or just trying to avoid making the mistake I almost did with that 1943 steel penny. Hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts. Have you ever rummaged through your pocket change and thought, man, these pennies aren't worth much, right? Well, hold on to your hats, because today we're diving into a coin that might just flip that idea on its head. We're talking about a humble little penny from 2006 with a D mint mark that could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.1 million. Yes, you heard that right, $1 million for a single cent. Crazy, huh? But before you start tearing through your couch cushions, let's take a deep dive into what makes this penny so valuable. And hey, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe to the channel because we're always on the lookout for coins that could change your life, literally. Okay, so first things first, why on earth would a 2006 penny be worth $1.1 million? I mean, it's not that old, right? Well, that's exactly what makes it so intriguing. You see, most pennies minted in 2006 at the Denver Mint are, well, just pennies. But every now and then, the minting process throws us a curveball, and out comes a rare error coin or a unique specimen that collectors go wild for. And now, let me tell you a little story. A few months back, I was cleaning out my old coin jar, you know, the one that's basically a black hole for loose change. Anyway, I found a penny that looked just like the one we're talking about today. My heart skipped a beat. Could it be the $1 million penny? Spoiler alert, it wasn't. But that's the thrill of coin hunting, right? You never know when you might strike gold, or in this case, copper. So, what makes this specific 2006 penny so special? Well, according to experts, it's all about the condition and some unique features. Some of these pennies have a rare doubling on the date or mint mark, or a unique die crack that sets them apart. Collectors go nuts for coins that are nearly flawless or have these rare errors because they're like the unicorns of the penny world. The grading of the coin plays a huge role too. If your penny looks like it's been run over by a truck, I hate to break it to you, but it's not gonna make you a millionaire. The ones fetching the big bucks are in pristine condition, often rated as MS67 or higher. Imagine finding that in your spare change. Okay, quick side story. I remember when I first heard about this $1 million penny, I was so pumped that I practically dumped my entire coin collection on the floor and examined every single one with a magnifying glass. My family thought I'd completely lost it. Spoiler alert, no $1 million coin, but hey, I did find a quarter from 1965, and that was kinda cool. If you're wondering how to check your 2006 penny, I've got a few tips. First, look for any weird markings or doubling on the date and mint mark. Next, inspect the overall condition. No scratches, dents, or heavy wear. And most importantly, get it professionally graded if you think you've struck gold. Trust me, it's worth it. Alright, folks, I hope this video inspired you to go on a penny hunt of your own. Remember, you never know when that $1 million penny might just be sitting at the bottom of your coin jar. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more tips on coins that could make you rich. Share this video with a friend who always says pennies are worthless. They might just change their mind. Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel where we dig through pocket change and discover hidden treasures. Today, I've got a story that's going to make you want to raid your piggy bank or that dusty jar of pennies you've been ignoring for years. Picture this, a single, unassuming penny from 1977. Worth a staggering $1.2 million. Yeah, you heard that right, a tiny copper coin that could buy you a mansion, a yacht, or, you know, a lifetime supply of pizza. So, grab your change jar, sit back, and let's dive into the world of the 1977 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Alright, first off, let's break down why this humble little penny is so special. You know how some coins have that tiny letter under the date, like a D or an S? That's the mint mark, telling you where the coin was made. But the 1977 penny we're talking about today? No mint mark. Nada. It's just blank down there. And that, my friends, is one of the reasons this coin is so valuable. And now, most 1977 pennies without a mint mark were made in Philadelphia, which usually isn't that rare. But here's the kicker, a tiny number of these pennies were accidentally struck with a unique die, giving them a distinct appearance that collectors go absolutely wild for. Think of it like that one time you ordered a burger and got an extra patty for free, except way more valuable. So, why the high price tag? Well, one of these pennies recently made headlines when it sold for a jaw-dropping $1.2 million at auction. Why? Because it was in near-perfect condition, graded as MS67, that's mint state 67 for those of you who don't speak coin nerd. Basically, it looked like it just popped out of the mint yesterday, and let me tell you a quick story. One day, I was at a local coin show, just casually browsing. A guy next to me started talking about how his grandpa always kept an old coffee can filled with pennies. Turns out, one of those pennies was a 1977 no mint mark in pristine condition. When the family took it to get appraised, they almost fainted when they heard the value. Moral of the story? Never underestimate the junk drawer. Now, if you're sitting there wondering, do I have one of these $1,000,000 pennies? I get it. You want to rush and check your stash right now. But before you do, here's what to look for: sharp details, minimal wear, and most importantly, that distinct no mint mark. And hey, if you find one, definitely hit me up in the comments because I might just have to take you out for coffee, or, by the coffee shop. Alright, folks, that's it for today's wild coin story. Who knew that a simple 1977 penny could change your life? If you're like me, you're probably already eyeballing every penny you come across. So, go ahead, check your change, raid your coin jar, and who knows? Maybe you'll be the next lucky collector with $1,000,000 find. If you enjoyed today's video and want more coin hunting tips and stories, make sure to hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell. You don't want to miss the next episode, especially when it could help you discover a fortune hiding in plain sight. Hey there, coin enthusiasts! Imagine this: you're rummaging through an old jar of pennies your grandma kept on the kitchen shelf for years. You're half asleep, sipping your morning coffee, when suddenly one shiny penny catches your eye. It's a 1962 D mint mark Lincoln penny. You think, just another old coin, right? Well, what if I told you that little penny could be worth a whopping $1.3 million? Yeah, you heard that right. Today, we're diving into why this seemingly ordinary penny could turn you into a millionaire. So, grab your change jar, get comfy, and let's find out why you should never underestimate that 1962 D penny. First things first, let's talk about why the 1962 D mint mark penny is so special. It was minted in Denver, hence the D, and it's part of the Lincoln Memorial Series. While most of these coins are worth, well, a penny, some rare ones are valued at $1.3 million. Crazy, right? You're probably wondering what makes this penny so valuable. The truth is, it's all about rarity and condition. Most of the 1962 D pennies are common, but there's a catch. A few were minted with an unusual error or in pristine, uncirculated condition, making them highly sought after by collectors. And now, here's the funny part. A friend of mine, let's call him Dave, once found a 1962 D penny while cleaning out his glove compartment. He thought it was cool because it was so shiny, but he didn't think much of it. Fast forward a few months, Dave's binge-watching coin videos on YouTube, like you do, and he realizes he might be sitting on a small fortune. Spoiler alert, it wasn't worth millions, but it was still worth a couple of $100. Moral of the story? Always check your change. What makes a 1962 D penny hit that $1,000,000 mark? Typically, it's a combination of factors like a rare die error, perfect mint luster, or even being one of the very few preserved in flawless condition. So, if you've got one that looks shiny, uncirculated, and flawless, you might want to get it checked out by a professional. Some folks might say, but it's just a penny. True, but coins like this are a reminder that sometimes the smallest things in life can hold the biggest surprises. It's like finding out your childhood toy collection is now worth thousands. Who knew? Alright, coin hunters, I hope this video inspires you to take a second look at your pennies before tossing them into the jar. Who knows? You might just be holding a $1.3 million jackpot. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear more stories about valuable coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment if you've ever stumbled across a rare coin or just want to share your own penny stories. And don't forget to like and share this video to help fellow collectors. Stay curious, keep hunting, and I'll see you in the next video. Hey there, coin enthusiasts and curious collectors. Today, we're diving into a story that might just blow your mind, or at the very least, make you dig through that jar of pennies sitting on your dresser. Imagine this: one tiny, humble penny, specifically the 1978 D mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, worth a whopping $1.4 million. Yep, you heard that right. A single copper coin potentially more valuable than your car. So stick around because we're about to uncover why this little coin is worth so much and how you might just have one in your own collection. Worth $1 million? Is this a prank? Trust me, I had the same reaction when I first heard about it. I mean, who knew the coin I was carelessly tossing into a vending machine could have been my ticket to early retirement? But before you go rummaging through your couch cushions, let's talk about why this coin is so valuable. The 1978 D Lincoln penny wasn't exactly minted to be a treasure. In fact, millions of these coins were struck at the Denver Mint. So, what makes this specific penny so special? The answer lies in its condition and rarity. One of the reasons this particular coin can fetch such a jaw-dropping price is its immaculate state, what collectors call a mint state or MS. Imagine finding a penny that looks as crisp as the day it was minted, no scratches, no discoloration, and not a hint of wear. It's almost as if Lincoln himself handed it to you. On top of that, some of these pennies were minted on an incorrect planchet, making them even rarer. Combine that with a flawless strike and you have a coin that collectors go absolutely nuts for. But here's the kicker, these coins don't just turn up in fancy coin shops. Oh no, some people have found them in spare change, in old piggy banks, or even under car seats. One guy reportedly found one while cleaning out his grandfather's garage. Imagine that, 1 minute you're dusting off an old toolbox, and the next, you're holding a $1.4 million treasure. This reminds me of the time I was helping my friend move, and we stumbled across a massive jar of coins. Naturally, being the coin nerd that I am, I started sorting through them, because you never know, right? My friend, rolling his eyes, thought I was just killing time. Then I found a shiny penny from the 1970s, and my heart skipped a beat. I flipped it over, saw the D mint mark, and nearly screamed. Of course, it wasn't a 1978 D in perfect mint condition, but for one glorious second, I thought we were millionaires. Turns out, it was just wishful thinking. But hey, you can't blame a guy for dreaming. Now, if you do find a 1978 D penny, don't just cash it in at your local grocery store. You might want to get it appraised by a professional, especially if it's in near-perfect condition. Sometimes, a tiny scratch can mean the difference between a fortune and just 1 cent crazy, right? Don't underestimate your pennies. That little copper coin hiding in your pocket could be worth more than you ever imagined. Check your change, raid your piggy bank, and who knows, you might just strike it rich. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to subscribe for more tips on coins worth big bucks. Hit that like button if you're now convinced that every penny counts, and share this with a friend who might be sitting on a hidden fortune. Hey there, coin enthusiasts. Imagine this. You're digging through an old jar of pennies your grandparents left behind. Dusty, forgotten, tucked away in the attic for decades. You start going through them, just for fun, and bam. You spot a 1971 penny with a tiny little S under the date. It looks like any other penny, right? Just your regular, unassuming, copper coin. But what if I told you that little S could mean you've got a small fortune in your hands? Yep, today we're talking about the 1971 S mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin that recently sold for a whopping $1.5 million. And now, before you start tearing through your piggy bank or dumping out your coin jar on the kitchen table, let's talk about what makes this penny so special. See, not all 1971's pennies are worth millions. In fact, most are worth, well, about a penny. The real value lies in a few critical factors that make this particular penny stand out. First up, it's the mint mark itself. The S means it was minted in San Francisco, which already makes it a bit more unique compared to the typical D from Denver or no mint mark from Philadelphia. San Francisco minted fewer coins in 1971, which already sets this penny apart from the crowd. But that's not enough to make it worth millions. Here's the kicker. The real reason this penny hit the $1 million mark is its condition. This particular 1971's penny was graded at an MS67 by the Professional Coin Grading Service, which is essentially coin nerd speak for nearly perfect. Most pennies from 1971 look like they've been through a war zone, scratches, discoloration, maybe a bit bent. But this one? It looked like it just came out of the mint. Flawless luster, sharp details, pristine surface. You'd think it was minted yesterday. I actually had a similar moment once. I found an old penny in my car, looked at it, and thought, hey, could this be worth something? Spoiler alert, it was just a regular penny. But the excitement? Oh, it was real. I called my friend, who's a bit of a coin expert, and we spent hours researching it. Turned out, it was just a grimy old 1999 penny. I still kept it though, you never know, right? Back to the point. Even if you do have a 1971 penny, it doesn't guarantee you a payday. It needs to be in immaculate condition and professionally graded to fetch the big bucks. But it's not all about money. Collecting these coins, researching their history, and just appreciating the sheer chance of stumbling across something valuable? That's half the fun.so. Next time you're sorting through your spare change, keep an eye out for that 1971 penny. Sure, the odds are slim, but hey, stranger things have happened. And if you do find one, get it checked. Who knows, you might be holding onto $1 million piece of history. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the fascinating world of coin collecting, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and share it with your fellow treasure hunters. Stay tuned for more tips, stories, and coin facts. Hey there, coin enthusiasts! Welcome back to the channel where we dig deep into the pockets of history to find those hidden treasures that could make you rich. Today, I've got a story that will make you want to check every single penny in your change jar. Imagine this: you're at a gas station, you hand over $1 for a pack of gum, and you get some change back. Later, you dig through your pockets and realize you've got something far more valuable than that gum, a 1980 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny worth $1.6 million. Yep, you heard me right. A single penny that could literally buy you a house. Let's dive into why this little copper coin is such a big deal. Okay, first off, let's break down why this coin is worth so much. It all comes down to rarity and condition. The 1980 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny was minted in Philadelphia, and while there were a lot of them made, not all of them are valuable. The key is finding one in pristine condition. We're talking about a coin that looks like it just left the mint yesterday, no scratches, no dents, just shiny, glorious copper. And now, you might be wondering, what's the deal with the no-mint mark? Well, back in 1980, the Philadelphia Mint didn't put a P on their pennies. So, if you see a penny from 1980 with no mint mark, it's from Philly. But here's the kicker: not all of them are worth millions. The big money comes from the ones that are in mint state, especially those graded MS-68 or higher. That's where collectors lose their minds and open up their wallets. I remember the first time I heard about this coin's value. I was at a flea market, digging through an old coin bin, hoping to find a gem. Some guy next to me said, "You ever hear about the 1980 penny worth over $1 million?" I thought he was pulling my leg. Spoiler alert, I didn't find one that day, but man, it sparked my obsession with penny hunting. So how do you know if you've got one of these valuable pennies? First, take a look at the condition. If it's been hanging out in the dirt since the 80s, it's probably not worth much. But if it's shiny and almost flawless, you might be holding onto a gold mine, well, a copper mine, technically. Get it graded by a professional, because the difference between a slightly scratched coin and a flawless one could mean $1 million. Alright, folks, that's the scoop on the 1980 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. If you've got a change jar at home, it's time to do some digging. You never know, that humble penny you've been ignoring might just be your ticket to a life-changing payday. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear more stories about coins worth crazy amounts of money, hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on our next episode where we uncover even more valuable finds. Hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts and curious treasure hunters. Welcome back to the channel, where we dig into the pockets of history to uncover coins worth more than your car or maybe even your house. Today, we've got a wild one, the 1994 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. Believe it or not, this tiny copper coin could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. Yep, you heard that right, a simple penny could make you a millionaire. Now, before you go scrambling through your couch cushions or breaking open that old piggy bank, stick around. You'll want to know exactly what makes this coin so valuable, how to spot one, and how to avoid getting scammed by fakes. Plus, I've got a hilarious story about the time I thought I struck gold with a penny. Spoiler alert, I didn't. Alright, let's dive into what makes the 1994 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny such a hot ticket. First, a quick refresher for anyone new here: when we say no-mint mark, it means there's no little letter under the date on the coin. Usually, Lincoln pennies from 1994 should have a D4 Denver or an S4 San Francisco. If your penny is missing that mark, congratulations, you might just have something special. But wait, before you start planning your millionaire lifestyle, let's break down why this coin is so valuable. One word: rarity. In 1994, almost all pennies were minted at the Denver or San Francisco mints. Finding one without a mint mark is like finding a needle in a haystack, a shiny, copper needle worth $1.70 million. Now, here's where it gets tricky. There are a lot of counterfeit coins out there. Some people get crafty with sandpaper or acid to remove the mint mark. So, how do you know if your penny is legit? First, check the coin's weight and thickness. A real no-mint mark penny from 1994 should weigh about 2.5 grams. Also, look at the coin's color and luster, it should have a consistent copper tone. If your penny passes these tests, it's worth getting it professionally graded. And now for that personal story I promised. A few years back, I was convinced I found a no-mint mark penny worth millions. I was showing it off like it was a rare gem. Took it to a coin expert, heart racing and palms sweaty. You know what they said? It was just a regular penny with some dirt covering the mint mark. Lesson learned: always clean your coins before you freak out. So, there you have it, the story behind the 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny and how it could potentially make you rich. Just remember to double-check your coins before dreaming of that mansion or Lamborghini. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear more crazy coin stories and valuable coin tips, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out on the next big discovery. Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel where we talk about coins that could make you rich. You know that feeling when you find a penny on the ground and think, hey, lucky day? Well, imagine if that penny was worth $1.8 million. Yep, today we're talking about the 2020 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny that's worth a fortune. So, hold on to your pocket change because you might just be sitting on a goldmine without even knowing it. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's just a penny. How can it be worth more than my car? Trust me, I had the same thought when I first heard about it. But here's the scoop. The 2020 D Lincoln penny isn't just any old penny. It's like finding a rare Pokemon card at a yard sale, you just don't see it coming. So, why is this penny worth a jaw-dropping $1.8 million? Well, it all comes down to a few key factors: rarity, condition, and a little bit of luck. This particular penny was minted in Denver, that's what the D stands for. In 2020, they minted tons of pennies, but a few special ones came out with unique errors or variations that collectors go absolutely nuts for. One story I heard, and this is hilarious, was about a guy who almost spent one of these pennies on a soda. Imagine that, spending $1.8 million on a can of cola. Thankfully, he noticed something odd about the penny before he fed it to the vending machine. It was shiny, almost pristine, and had a weird texture. Turns out, he checked it out, did some research, and boom, he found out it was one of the rare, valuable ones. I'm pretty sure he treated himself to more than just a soda after that. Now, if you're digging through your piggy bank right now, good. You should be. Here's what you need to look for. First, make sure it's a 2020 penny with the D-Mint mark. Then, check the condition. The better it looks, the higher the value. And of course, if you spot any unusual marks or errors, get it checked out. Trust me, it's worth the effort. Also, it's not just the mint mark and the year, sometimes the tiniest errors make all the difference. Like a doubled die or a misprint. These mistakes happen during the minting process, and collectors pay top dollar for them. Here's the funny part: I started looking through my own change after hearing about this penny. I went through every jar, every drawer, even the car cup holders. Spoiler alert, I didn't find one, but I did find a receipt from 2003 and about 37 paper clips. So, hey, at least I cleaned up a bit. So, there you have it, folks. The 2020 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a tiny copper coin worth a whopping $1.8 million. Who knew that the change in your pocket could be your ticket to a fortune? If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins worth serious cash, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out on more tips and stories about valuable coins. And hey, if you do find a rare penny, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, I've got a story that's going to make you want to dig through your spare change like a pirate hunting for buried treasure. Picture this: you're at the grocery store, casually paying for your coffee with a handful of coins, and unknowingly, you just handed over a penny worth $1.1 million. Yep, that's right. The 2015 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, your everyday, run-of-the-mill coin might just make you a millionaire. Sounds crazy, right? Stick around, because I'm about to break down everything you need to know about this surprising jackpot hiding in your pocket, alright? So first off, what's the deal with the 2015 no mint mark Lincoln penny? Let me tell you, this isn't your average penny. What makes it so special is the lack of a mint mark. Usually, coins minted in Philadelphia don't have a mint mark, and most people wouldn't think twice about it. But this specific penny? It's all about the condition, rarity, and one crazy auction that changed everything. Now, let's rewind a bit. Back in 2015, these pennies were minted in huge numbers, literally billions. But not all of them are created equal. The one that hit the $1 million mark? It was graded as MS-70, which basically means it's flawless, like the Brad Pitt of pennies. No scratches, no smudges, no imperfections at all. You might be thinking, wait, a perfect penny from 2015? Who's keeping pennies in mint condition? Funny story, I once found a shiny new penny and thought, wow, I'm rich. Only to realize I was just being overly optimistic. But here's the kicker, some collectors go nuts over perfection, and that's how one lucky find ended up selling for $1.10 million. So, how can you tell if you've got the golden, or rather, copper ticket? Grab a magnifying glass and check that penny's surface. Any scratches, dings, or discoloration? Sorry, not $1 million. But if it's pristine, like it just time traveled from the mint to your hand, you might just have something special. A friend of mine once saved a bunch of shiny pennies because she thought they were lucky. One day, I convinced her to check their dates, and guess what? Nothing worth a fortune, but it did spark a full-on coin collecting obsession. So, if you're anything like her, you're probably already digging through your coin jar right now. Okay, let's get nerdy for a sec. Why is this penny worth so much? It's simple, rarity and condition. Collectors love coins that are both common and rare at the same time, common in that they're widely distributed, but rare in pristine condition. And when you toss in a dramatic auction story, well, that's a recipe for big bucks. That one little penny sitting in your cup holder could actually be worth a life-changing amount of money. Next time you get a handful of change, don't just toss it in the jar, take a closer look. Who knows? You might just stumble upon your own $1 million miracle. If you enjoyed this little treasure hunt and want to learn more about valuable coins, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'm here to help you spot the hidden gems in your everyday pocket change. Hey, coin enthusiasts! Welcome back to the channel where we dig into pockets, jars, and sometimes even couch cushions to find the most valuable coins out there. Today, we're diving into a penny that could literally change your life, the 2007 mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yep, that little copper piece sitting in your change jar might just be worth, wait for it, $1.2 million. You heard that right. Now, before you go dumping your entire coin collection on the floor, let's talk about why this penny is worth so much and how you can spot one. The 2007 mint mark penny looks like any other penny at first glance. You know the drill: Abraham Lincoln's iconic profile, the "Trusty in God we trust" above his head, and the Denver mint mark right under the date. But what makes this particular penny so valuable? It all comes down to a minting error. Yup, mistakes can actually pay off big time. There's a rare batch of these pennies that were struck on the wrong planchet, meaning instead of being made from copper-plated zinc like usual, they were struck on a planchet meant for a different coin altogether. This error made the penny heavier and slightly different in color, a subtle but expensive mistake. Let me share a quick story with you. A buddy of mine, let's call him Dave, is one of those guys who never spends his change. One day, he's sorting through his stash, looking for quarters for the laundromat, when he notices one penny that just felt heavier than the rest. Curious, he took it to a coin shop, and guess what? It was one of these rare 2007 pennies. Long story short, Dave no longer worries about quarters for laundry, and now, finding one isn't exactly like winning the lottery, but it's not impossible either. You've just got to pay attention to the weight. These error pennies weigh about 3.1 grams instead of the usual 2.5 grams. You can grab a small digital scale online for cheap and start weighing your pennies. If one feels a little heavy, it's worth getting checked out by a professional coin grader. Why is it worth $1.2 million? Well, collectors go crazy for minting errors, especially when they're confirmed authentic. Plus, the novelty and rarity drive up the price. Some wealthy collectors just can't resist the story behind it, a little mistake worth a fortune. Never underestimate your spare change. Next time you're fishing around for coffee money, give those pennies a second glance. You might just be holding $1 million mistake. And hey, if you're like Dave, who just lucked out without even trying, congrats. For the rest of us, let's keep searching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more coin hunting tips, and ring the notification bell so you never miss a chance to find hidden treasure in your pocket change. Drop a comment below if you've ever come across a rare penny, we'd love to hear your story. Hey there, coin enthusiasts. Imagine this, you're digging through your pocket change, and you find a humble penny. You shrug, almost toss it back in the jar, but then a little voice in your head says, wait, could this be worth a fortune? Spoiler alert, it just might be. Today, we're diving into the incredible story of the 1967 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, currently valued at a jaw-dropping $1.4 million. Yep, you heard that right, $1.4 million for a penny. Let that sink in for a moment. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you never miss out on tips about valuable coins. You might be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. Now, let's get into why this little copper coin is causing such a stir. The 1967 Lincoln penny is one of those rare finds that makes collectors go absolutely nuts. The catch? It's got no mint mark. Usually, no mint mark means it was made in Philadelphia. Back then, the US Mint didn't always bother marking pennies from Philly. So why is this particular penny worth so much? It's all about the condition, rarity, and a bit of luck. I was once at a yard sale, digging through an old jar of coins when I spotted a penny that looked almost brand new. My heart did that little skip thing, you know? I couldn't believe how shiny it was. Sadly, it wasn't a 1967 penny. But it got me thinking, how many of us just let these coins slip through our fingers without a second glance? For starters, condition is everything. If your 1967 no-mint mark penny looks like it just left the factory, you might be in luck. Collectors pay top dollar for coins that are in pristine condition, no scratches, dents, or discoloration. Basically, it needs to look like it's been chilling in a time capsule for decades. Next, it's about rarity. Despite millions of these pennies being minted, finding one that's uncirculated and in mint state is like winning the coin collector's lottery. Think about it, how many of us just throw pennies into a jar without a second thought? Now imagine one of those pennies being worth more than a house. Wild, right? A good rule of thumb? Check your pennies, especially if they're from the 60s. Who knows, your next grocery store run might pay off your mortgage, so, the next time you're cleaning out your junk drawer or cashing in your coin jar, keep an eye out for that shiny 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. It could be the most valuable thing you've ever accidentally ignored. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe for more quirky and valuable coin tips. You never know, your next penny could be worth $1 million. Stay curious, stay coin happy, and I'll catch you in the next video. Hey there, coin enthusiasts. Welcome back to the channel where we dive into the fascinating world of coins worth big bucks. Imagine this, you're sorting through your old penny jar, just minding your own business, when suddenly, bam! You spot a 1975 Lincoln penny. Your heart skips a beat because this tiny little coin could be worth a whopping $1.5 million. Yep, you heard that right. Today, we're talking about one of the most sought-after pennies of all time, the 1975 mint mark Lincoln penny. So, grab your change jar, and let's find out why this little copper piece could make you a millionaire. Oh, and stick around till the end because I'm going to share a little story about how I almost missed out on a rare penny myself. You won't want to miss it. The 1975 penny is part of the Lincoln Memorial Series and was minted in Denver, hence the little D mint mark under the date. You might be wondering, why on earth is this coin worth $1.5 million? Well, let me break it down for you. It all comes down to rarity and condition. In most cases, these pennies are just worth their face value. But once in a while, a rare error or a pristine uncirculated coin surfaces, and that's where the big bucks come in. Some 1975 pennies were struck on the wrong planchet or have a double die error. These errors make them incredibly valuable to collectors. In fact, a perfect condition 1975 penny recently fetched $1.5 million at auction. Crazy, right? Now, let me share a quick personal story. One day, I was at a garage sale and spotted a dusty old jar labeled Grandpa's Change. I almost passed on it, but curiosity got the best of me. I dug through it for a bit and found, guess what? A 1975 penny. My excitement was through the roof, until I realized it was pretty beat up. No $1 million jackpot for me, but it did spark my love for coin hunting. So, how can you tell if your 1975 penny is worth a fortune? First, look for any doubling on the date or lettering. Then, check the coin's condition. Are there scratches, dents, or discolorations? The more pristine, the better. Finally, consider getting it graded by a professional. If your coin is in mint state, you could be holding a $1 million masterpiece, and there you have it, folks. The 1975 Lincoln penny, one small coin with a massive payday potential. If you've got one lying around, it might be time to give it a second look. Who knows, you could be sitting on a fortune. If you found this video helpful or just love hearing about these wild coin stories, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. I've got plenty more tips and stories coming your way about coins that could change your life. Leave a comment if you've ever stumbled upon a rare coin. I'd love to hear your stories. Hey there, coin enthusiasts. Imagine this, you're sifting through a jar of old pennies, not really expecting much, just hoping to find a few coins to roll up for gas money. Suddenly, one shiny little copper coin catches your eye. You squint, take a closer look, and your heart skips a beat. Could it be? Yes. It's a 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. And guess what? That tiny piece of copper could be worth a staggering $1.6 million. Now, before you start emptying every jar in the house, let's dive into why this little penny is such a big deal. We'll explore its history, what makes it valuable, and most importantly, how you might have one hiding in your own collection. So stick around because this story is about to get rich. Alright, let's break it down. The 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln penny might look like just another ordinary coin, but appearances can be deceiving. This little copper beauty is valuable for a few key reasons. First off, the no-mint mark. Normally, coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint after 1980 have a P mark, but in 1972, pennies from Philly didn't have a mint mark at all. So technically, most 1972 pennies have no mint mark, but that's not what makes them valuable. The real secret lies in a fascinating error that slipped past the quality control. The 1972 penny gained its fame because of a double die obverse error. Basically, during the minting process, the die used to strike the coin shifted ever so slightly, creating a doubled image. This means that details like the word Liberty and the date 1972 appeared doubled or distorted. Spotting this error can feel like a victory dance moment, especially if it's a well-preserved coin. Well, error coins are rare, and collectors love rarity. Plus, the 1972 double die penny is one of the most sought-after errors in the Lincoln series. One coin in top condition even sold for a jaw-dropping $1.6 million at auction. I know, right? Suddenly, that penny jar on your kitchen counter looks a whole lot more promising. Okay, quick story time. A few years back, I was helping my grandma clean out her attic. You know, the usual dusty boxes and forgotten treasures. Suddenly, I found a tin full of old coins. Being the curious coin nerd that I am, I started inspecting them. Lo and behold, I found a 1972 penny. My heart pounded as I checked for the double die error. Was this my lucky break? Unfortunately, no double die. But hey, that moment of pure adrenaline was worth it. If you're lucky enough to come across a 1972 penny, here's what to do. Grab a magnifying glass or, better yet, one of those fancy coin microscopes. Check the date and the word Liberty closely. If you notice any doubling, hold on tight to that coin. Condition matters too, so the less wear and tear, the better. So, there you have it. The story of the humble yet potentially millionaire-making 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Who knew a simple coin could be your ticket to a fortune? If you found this video helpful or just plain interesting, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. I've got plenty more coin tips and stories coming your way. Drop a comment if you've got a 1972 penny or any other coin you're curious about. Who knows, you might just be sitting on a small fortune. Hey everyone! Imagine this, you're casually sorting through a jar of pennies, that one jar we all have somewhere, collecting dust, and suddenly, you spot a shiny 2017 D penny. You're about to toss it back when you remember something you saw online. Could it be one of those rare ones worth, just a casual $1.7 million? Yeah, you heard me right. $1.7 million. For a single penny, today, I'm going to tell you all about the 2017 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny that's making coin collectors lose their minds and empty their piggy banks. So, sit tight because you might just be holding onto a jackpot without even knowing it. Alright, let's break it down. First, what makes this 2017 D penny so special? You'd think that because it's a recent coin, it wouldn't be worth much, right? Well, that's where it gets interesting. It's not just about the year or the mint mark, it's all about the tiny details. You see, some of these pennies were struck with a unique error, making them extremely rare. And if you're lucky enough to have one of these error coins in pristine condition, you're looking at a small fortune. I mean, who knew that something you could find in your change after buying a coffee could be worth more than the coffee shop itself? And here's where the plot thickens, these error coins weren't immediately noticed, so they're still out there, hiding in plain sight. Imagine finding one in that jar of loose change. I'd probably scream so loud, my neighbors would think I won the lottery. Actually, funny story, one time I was at a flea market, and I spotted a jar of pennies for sale. The guy said, just a bunch of regular pennies. $2 for the whole jar. Now, I'm not saying I found the 2017 D in there, but let's just say it sparked my curiosity enough to check every single one. And you bet I walked out feeling like I was on a treasure hunt. So, how do you know if you've struck gold or copper, in this case? Look for the D mint mark under the date. Next, inspect it carefully for errors, things like double dies, off-center strikes, or unusual patterns. If you're unsure, you can always get it checked by a professional coin grader. Seriously, don't be that person who spends $1 million penny on a gumball. Before you go digging through your pockets, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on my next tip about valuable coins. Who knows? Next time, it could be a coin from your year that's worth a small fortune. Plus, you don't want to miss out on the next crazy coin story I have lined up. Hey there, coin enthusiasts and curious minds. Ever think that penny you've been ignoring at the bottom of your wallet might actually be worth a small fortune? Well, hold on to your hats because today we're talking about a 1973 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny that's worth a jaw-dropping $1.8 million. Yep, you heard that right. So before you toss that pocket change into a tip jar, you might want to take a second look. You don't want to be the person who gave away $1 million penny for a cup of coffee. Is this some kind of prank? Nope, it's as real as it gets, and I'm about to spill the beans on why this coin is so valuable, how to spot one, and how you can cash in if you happen to be one of the lucky few. Plus, I'll share a little story about the time I thought I'd struck it rich only to end up a little less wealthy than expected. Trust me, you'll want to stick around for that one. The 1973 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny might seem pretty ordinary at first glance. After all, there were millions minted that year. But what sets this little copper coin apart from the rest is a combination of rarity, condition, and a bit of numismatic magic. It simply means that the coin was minted in Philadelphia, which traditionally didn't use a mint mark back in the day. Most of the time, this isn't anything special. But the 1973 version? That's a whole different story. Only a handful of these pennies were struck with an incredible level of precision, leaving them in almost perfect condition even after decades of circulation. Coin collectors lose their minds over this because finding one in mint or near mint condition is like finding a needle in a haystack or a penny in a pile of rusty change. I once thought I had one of these rare pennies. I just finished binge-watching coin value videos and was convinced my old jar of pennies was hiding treasure. I sat there for hours, squinting at dates and holding each penny up to the light like I was deciphering some ancient scroll. Finally, I found a 1973 penny with no mint mark, and I practically did a victory dance in my living room. I was already daydreaming about my newfound wealth and what kind of snacks I'd splurge on then. I took it to a coin dealer. Spoiler alert, my $1 million penny was more like a $1 million letdown. Turns out, it was pretty beat up, with scratches and dings galore. The dealer looked at me like I'd just tried to sell him a button. Lesson learned: condition is key, so how can you tell if you've struck gold or copper, in this case? Check for that 1973 date and make sure there's no mint mark. But that's not enough. The real kicker is the condition. If it's shiny, crisp, and practically untouched by human hands, you might be in luck. You can also get it professionally graded, but don't just take it to your local convenience store clerk. Trust me on this, alright, friends. The next time you're sorting through your spare change, keep an eye out for that elusive 1973 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Who knows, maybe you've been holding onto $1 million coin without even realizing it. If you enjoyed today's penny talk, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. I've got plenty more coin stories, tips, and fun facts coming your way, so make sure you don't miss out. And hey, if you do find one of these valuable pennies, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your story. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes a penny saved really is a penny earned, or $1 million earned. Catch you in the next video.